the Most High hate Esau? Or do y'all know why? Y'all don't know why? So let's get into it. Somebody get the definition of hate. Because that's a strong word, right? We always, I mean, when I was in the Christian world, they was like, God don't hate nobody. He love everybody. God loved the sinner, but he hate the sin. Right? That's what we was taught. But hearing the truth with the right understanding, we know that God hates the sinner and he has a people that he hates, right? So with that, let's get the definition of hate. Anybody got it? All right, no one has it. I have it. It says hate, feel intense or passionate dislike for someone. So that's a passionate hate that the Most High has for Esau. We're going to get that. It says loathe, detest, despise, dislike, exhort, or execrate. So all these things, we're going to see why the Most High hates Esau. So let's get Isaiah 46. We're going to read 8 through 9. Because somebody can be hearing this for the first time and never know, right? And like people, they hear us on the streets teaching. They be like, oh man, y'all just preaching hate. Are we preaching hate or are we preaching the truth? Because hate, it sounds like, the truth sounds like hate when you don't understand it. You've been taught a lie your whole life. So let's get to Isaiah 46 and verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 46.
Verse 8. Start at verse 8.
In verse 8, remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old.
See, the Most High said, remember the former things of old. Didn't we get that in Job 8 and 8? Where he told us, remember the old path and search the things out that our father have known? I'm paraphrasing, so I'm butchering it, but if you want, we can get that. But go ahead.
Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me.
Ain't nobody like the Most High. Verse 10.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
So he's telling you, he's declaring the end from the beginning. The whole book is about prophecy, right? And about his understanding, because some of us come in to congregations and we get a lesson that we don't understand. But the Most High said, I'm declaring the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. Go ahead.
Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand.
His counsel sure is standing today, because a lot of us who are in the truth, we know why the Most High hates Esau, right? But before, we didn't understand it, right? But go ahead.
And I will do all my pleasure.
He's going to do all his pleasure, because weren't we created for the Lord's pleasure? So with that, let's go to Romans 9 and 13. Because you had the, what's his name? T.D. Jakes talking about the covenant was for everybody. It ain't got nothing to do with a color. It ain't got nothing to do with the African Americans, the Latinos, or the Mexicans. And he had an Edomite stand up.
T.D. fakes.
Right? And say, we can make the same contract. But that ain't what the Most High said. So get that. That's Romans 9 and 13. Now, let me get there first so I can read along with you.
Oh, fatback T.D. Jakes.
They be lying on the Most High. So read that.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
See? He hated him from the beginning. From the time of creation, he hated Esau. And we're going to see why he hated Esau. So let's see why the Most High hates Esau. Let's get a little background history on Esau. Let's go to Genesis 25. We're going to read 21 through 22. Because the Christians, they tell you don't read the Old Testament. We ain't under the old law no more. We under the new covenant. And they don't read this. They don't study. So they don't understand the covenants. They don't understand that the Most High hates people and races and nations that he created. So let's get that. Genesis 25 and 21.
Book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
So Isaac was a righteous man, and he prayed to the Most High for his wife that she can have children. Go ahead.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her.
Wait, it said the children struggled together within her. Let's get that definition. Somebody got the definition of struggle? Because why would these children struggle being in her womb? If you don't have the definition, I get it. But I want y'all to be participant in this lesson. Anybody got it? What is it? He got a mic? Hold on. He going to give you a mic.
Struggle. Make forceful or violent effort to get free of restraint or restriction.
So that shows you that there was a fight in the womb, because the synonyms for struggle is fight, grapple, wrestle, scuffle, brawl, or sprawl, or spar. So it was a fight in the womb already. Now we're going to see why it was a fight in the womb. So let's go back to the Genesis 25, where we left off at. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
So they fought in the womb. Then we're going to see who these children were. Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So she was wondering, what's going on, Lord? Why all this commotion in my stomach, where my children are at? Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So it's 2 nations in her womb struggling for survival. Don't they say only the strong survive? Survival of the fittest, right? So they are already squabbling, being that they were 2 nations. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
So they was already separated because they were in the womb fighting. Me and my twin, we didn't fight in the womb. My mama, she didn't have no complaints about her stomach hurting over us, right? But because this was Jacob and Esau, 2 different nations, they were fighting already. But go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Aren't y'all stronger than Esau? Don't y'all, they show you and give y'all the examples on TV that we're stronger than Esau? Y'all know they had them strongman Olympics, but where are we at in that? Huh? We would be on top, but there's not a lot of us in it. What they say about Serena recently? They said she can't wear her black cat suit because that's too much pride, because everybody was saying, oh man, she wearing her black cat suit like the Black Panther movie, but that ain't had nothing to do with it. But we are stronger than them because she dominate that sport. We dominate football. We dominate baseball. We dominate hockey, right? What other sports do we dominate? Soccer, boxing, golf, UFC, Olympics, gymnasium. All of that is us, right? We dominate every single sport. So it said we will be stronger than the other. But go ahead.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Which you will find out in the scripture that Esau served Jacob. But go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
See, twins. But they were fraternal twins of different nations. Go ahead.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
So now it's describing Esau. Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
Did you want to plug up so you can go to something?
It's on you if you want. Yeah. You got to tell them.
Hey, Daniela, we're going to plug up. So can you get the projector on? But we're gonna keep going with the lesson, but you can get that on. You can go ahead and plug up, though, so when you're ready. Yep. Because we want to show the audience who Esau is. It might be somebody new watching this lesson. But we're gonna keep going because we can always show Esau anytime during the lesson.
Just tell me what kind of image you're trying to look
Yeah.
for.
You can show that the one of him being hairy.
Okay. Harry.
All right, can you switch now? Hey, Yashima, dim the light. All right, but go ahead, read.
You want to switch or not? Okay. Verse 26.
Yeah.
26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
So now Jacob came out, and he grabbing on Esau's heel. Why are they fighting? Why are they struggling? But go ahead. But go ahead.
His hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And
so that shows you that was a fight in the womb, and it was a fight when they was coming out. Go ahead.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man.
So now it's getting into the characteristics of Esau and Jacob. Esau was a cunning hunter. He was a man of the field, wild. And Esau, like brothers now, we want to just lay back and chill, play a little dominoes and relax, right? But you see Esau out there bungee jumping, jumping out of planes, jumping off cliffs, skydiving, all the old crazy stuff, right? Going hunting, eating dead hearts out of animals. You don't see us doing that, right? But go ahead.
And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
So Jacob like, man, feed me this uncooked food. Go ahead.
For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
So his name was called Edom because he ate red uncooked pottage. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Hold up. Would y'all sell y'all birthright? You wouldn't? Well, we're going to see why the Most High hates Esau, because this is one of the things that started that downfall and that hatred. But go ahead.
And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
What profit is y'all birthright? Nobody can buy y'all soul, right? It's priceless, right? But his, he was like, what profit is it to me? You can have it. Just feed me. But go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
See, he sold his birthright. He was unthankful, unrighteous for selling his birthright. We're going to see why.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
On verse 32, he said, he replied, he said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? You know, that's one characteristic of that nation of people. They want it right now. They want it in this world. They want to live their best life now. They don't think like, oh, you know, in the kingdom, in eternity. It's like we got to rule now. We got to take whatever it is that's right for the taking now, you know, and they still have that mentality. Even when you, if you have colleagues and co-workers and things of that nature of that nation of people, you'll see that that's in their spirit. A lot of them are like that. You know what I'm saying? If who does customer service in here? You know, they're some of the most difficult people to deal with when it comes down to when they want something done right now. Am I right or wrong? All right, I just want to bring that out.
Yep. Now read verse 34.
Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
So now I want to get the definition of despise. Can somebody get that? Because that's a hateful thing for you to despise your own birthright. Your parents birth you. Here you are, the firstborn, and you give all the rights of the firstborn. We know he was taught that because Isaac was his father. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question about verse 30 when it talks about the red pottage, because, you know, I know red cabbage too, but by it saying red, that is really identifying that it was uncooked. It's not just because it was like a redhead cabbage or something like that.
They also have red lentils as well. So
that's what's determining that it was raw meat, because they're using the color red.
They didn't say it was meat.
I mean, well, you know, in pottage.
Not in the other scripture, though.
Yeah. But we'll get that. That's a whole nother lesson. We'll get that for you though. But yeah, it was red lentils, and also he ate raw meat. But let's get the definition of despise.
Despise. Feel content or deep repugnance for.
So
it says to loathe or abhor.
Yep. So he hated his own life. Let's go to Job 9 and 21.
You said Job what?
Job 9 and 21.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, we can get it.
You want to get that now or you want to wait?
It's on you. Job 9 and 21.
Yeah, let's answer that question.
Let's go to Job first, and then we'll come back. Job chapter 9 and verse 21. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul.
See, Esau didn't know his soul. He didn't know his spirit. But go ahead.
I would despise my life.
So he despised his life. He hated his right of the firstborn. So now let's go to Hebrews 12 and 16. Let's see some of the foul and detestable things that he did. Go ahead.
That's where it's at. The one you're looking for, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Hebrews 12 and 16.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
So he was a fornicator and a profane person. He was spiritually dead, which was a spiritual fornicator, he also committed other acts of fornication as well. Go ahead.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Wait, that answered your question right there, sister. It said for one morsel of meat. It was red meat, and he sold his birthright. It was uncooked. So now let's go to Sirach 9 and verse 10. Let's get what he did. This detestable Esau, this foul man.
So what we going to?
Sirach 9 and verse 10. Because you got a lot of rappers, they do the same thing today for money. This dude did it for some raw uncooked meat. This is why the Most High hate Esau.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with...
10 and 9. My bad. Sirach chapter 10, verse 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man.
Wait, hold up. Esau was wicked and covetous over some meat. He sold his birthright. Go ahead.
For such an one setteth his own soul to sale.
See, he sold his own soul for some uncooked raw meat. That's a wicked thing. That's why the Most High hates this man. And every time we go out on the street teach, we start getting on the white man. Our folks be like, what about the white man? They don't never say, what about the Chinese? What about the Arabs? What about the Cambodians? You don't never hear about the Cambodians. They don't never ask about them, right? But they always say, what about the white man? This was the worst man in the world. He committed all kind of atrocities against every nation of people, but we still worried about him when the Most High hates him for the deeds and the things that he did. So let's see what else he did during the time of the Most High hating this man. Let's go back. Let's go to Genesis 27:1. Because this dude was indeed a wicked, wicked person. We're going to read 27. We're going to read 1 through 4.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old.
So this is the father of Esau and Jacob. He got old now. Go ahead.
And his eyes were dim, so that he could not see. He called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold now, I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
Now right here, you see, Esau had a chance to redeem himself and be rightful with the birthright that he sold. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to continue in his wickedness. He could have been like, you know what, Father? I was hungry one day and I sold my birthright. But you know what? He tried to be slick because he still wanted the blessing, which we're going to get into it and continue to show that this man is wicked. Was that all of verse 4?
Yes, sir. Unless you want 5.
So let's go to Genesis 25, verse 32.
And 32.
32 through 34.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
Was he really going to die? He was a cunning hunter. He was a man of the field, right? He had weapons and all of that. He knew how to hunt himself, right? He wasn't going to die. He was just trying to be slick. But go ahead.
And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
See, he sold his birthright, trying to be slick. When he had a chance, when his father came, go back to Genesis 27 and verse 4. Trying to be slick when he had a chance to be like, you know what, Pops? I sold my birthright. I don't even want it. I gave it to my youngest brother, Jacob. He can have it now. But he didn't want to be he didn't want to be forthright and righteous. He wanted to be wicked. But go ahead. So let's go back to Genesis 27 and verse 4.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 4. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac...
All right, that's all of that. So with that, let's show what the Most High hates. because the lesson is about why does the Most High hate Esau. Let's go to Proverbs 6, 16 and 17. And then we're going to come back there.
Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 17.
No, 6, verse 16 and 17.
6. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. These 6 things that the Lord hate.
So these are the things that the Lord hate, which further prove that why the Most High hates Esau. Go ahead.
Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him.
So it's an abomination to the Most High. Go ahead.
A proud look, a lying tongue.
So didn't Esau lie? Man, he had a lying tongue. He lied to Jacob and he lied to his father. And he despised his birthright to the Most High. But go ahead.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
We're going to also show that too. Because Esau was a wicked man. So let's go back to Genesis 27.
You don't want to finish that off?
Oh, yeah, finish that, then we'll go back.
And heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Feet that be swift in running to mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies.
See, he was a false witness against himself at that point. Go ahead.
And he that soweth discord amongst brethren.
Didn't he do this amongst brethren? Because he sold his birthright, right? And then he started hating his own brother after that.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I know the brother is really bringing out, I guess, more so what Esau himself did, the progenitor. But when you look at the nation and see how they operate, some of their key actions in regards to how they, in relation to how they deal with us. The first one said a proud look. When you think of the nation of Edom, so-called white folks, they have a very proud look to date. That's not just something that their forefather was guilty of. That's something that they're even more guilty of. They have an extremely proud look. And look at you crazy, look at you up and down when you come into their neighborhoods where they don't expect to see your black and Latino behind or Israelite behind. They will feel some type of way, when they see you in their neighborhoods. It says also a lying tongue. They full of lies. Their laws are based upon lies and loopholes. This whole country is set up based off of fictitious practices and fraudulent practices. It says, and hands that shed innocent blood. As a people, not only were they, but are they still guilty of shedding innocent blood? Yes or no? So-called white folks, on how many different levels do they shed innocent blood? Because really, it was on a level of physically taking their hands and having to shed blood. But do they even have to do it that way anymore? When they poisoning your food, killing your babies before they see the light of day, right? Putting you in situations where you can't afford to live. They call it redlining and food swamps and deserts where you can't even afford food that's healthy. You're eating things that are causing cancer, things that are killing you slowly. Fluoridation of your water, poisoning your water supply. Look what they doing over in Flint. Look what they doing over in Compton, in parts of Compton. We ain't got clean drinking water. Are they killing us? Are they shedding blood? I'm almost done.
No, go ahead.
Look at this. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Devise wicked imaginations. How many wicked imaginations can you think of? Just along the parameters of homosexuality alone, how many can you think of? Which gave way to pedophilia. Okay. What about feet that be swift in running the mischief? On cue. But let's talk about all over the globe. Are they not quick to run to some mischief? Stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them. They looking for a way to take somebody oil. Act like they care. They get mad at somebody for bombing their own people, so they go and bomb them.
They said the Assyrians government used some kind of
Chemical warfare.
chemical agent on their people, so they bombed them. Which, come to find out, that was a lie.
We're going to bomb you for bombing your people and kill innocent people.
And take your oil.
Crazy, man. Esau is a bastard. It says, a false witness that speaketh lies. When you look to the definition of devil, you know, I know a lot of times we just say deceiver, but when you look into it, it literally says a false accuser. He falsely accuses the heck out of us on the news every night. I was watching something on Facebook, I think your Tab shared, some Jake, and he had all of his documents in place. Look, man, I should have been released, whoop-de-whoop. It's been 20 years. Esau is a devil, man. And I'll be watching like all of these shows, you know. Esau is, man, that a devil meaning a false accuser. He, on the news. Have you believing like your people is just inherently criminals? Straight up. Falsely accusing like we by nature have a criminal behavior. And they're civilized, but they are the most inhumane people on the face of this earth. These are the same people, mind you, all of the different experiments, all of the different operations. But these are the same people that took our men, I mean, many of our men, and took the genitals of our men and made coin sacks out of our scrotums. Made pouches off our women's labias from their vaginal area. That's how demented these bastards are. They used to make shoes off of the skin of our forefathers, literally. This is during the times of slavery in the South, the antebellum South. They just returned Nat Turner's head a couple of years ago after passing his head down in one particular family, the Edomites. They just gave his head, Nat Turner's head, over to the museum. You talking about a wicked people, man. And for all of that, I can't even get a free education. Man, that's a slap in the face. So when he say all of these things, man, that whole list is him. It ain't one thing that he don't do. And I'm talking about do on a great level.
He's so wicked, man. He is. We're going to have to do a part 2 on this for real. Give y'all some images, some timeline, all that. Because how many of y'all know about Rosewood? But a lot of the youngsters don't, right? How many of y'all know about 1717, the St. Louis riot? Just one person? We need to look. 1717, the St. Louis riot, when the African Americans, they killed 50 African Americans who fought in the U.S. Army. How many of y'all know about the Watts riot? Y'all know what it was about? Because they say it was a Watts riot as if black folks was fighting each other. It was the same thing that's going on now was going on in the 65. The police were messing with black folks. And do y'all know that Watts was once like a black Wall Street to us? It was all black businessmen and businesses that they destroyed during the time of the Watts riot.
Yep.
They don't never talk about that. That's how wicked and deceiving the so-called white man is. But these are the things they constantly do to us, right? If you want to go even further, look at all the inventions that a black man has created that a white man put his name on. Henry Ford. Black people should be rich because there was a black man who created Ford Motor Company. Where's our funds at? Y'all see how they did us? When they deceived everybody, it was like, man, Black Panther coming out. Everybody was happy, right? That movie made over $1 billion. Where's the money at that's supposed to come to the black folks?
They wasn't giving none.
And y'all was the one supported it. Y'all ain't got nothing.
They wasn't giving none of that money up.
Ain't nobody got no money.
Negative.
And then they always in our industries, right? Rap music came out because of the depression of the black people, right? But who's running it? The so-called white man. Why they won't let black folks get their own distribution companies? That's some wicked stuff, right? They put down all of the positive music, but they pump all the garbage. And they give it to the sellout black folks because all they gonna do is go buy cars, buy jewelry. They ain't buying no property, they ain't buying houses, and they tricking it off on the hookers and making them rich.
Hey.
They don't teach them to buy no land, right? Where's our land at from that? What about all our ones that's not rappers? The black basketball players, the black football players, the black tennis players. Oh, y'all can go to Africa, y'all can give to Africa, but what about your people here? Y'all ain't bought no land, because Oprah's a billionaire, right? If the government falls, she falls. She don't have no money because all her stuff is in an account. But if she had crops, she can live on. Oprah Studios go down, she done. But that's the wickedness that they teach our people. Not to help your people, not to build up for yourselves, but build up for us. 90% of her staff is Edomites. What they do to Bill Cosby?
Oh, man. Oh.
They killed his son and destroyed his life because he wanted to buy a TV station. Ain't that some wickedness? But let's get into it according to the scriptures. But so let's go back to that, man.
Bill was trying to push reformation of our people, and they didn't like that.
Yeah.
Whatever else he was doing, I don't know, but what we on now?
Go back to Genesis 27 and verse 35.
You need me to, I got something else I'm gonna pull out.
No.
I said if you need me to. Okay. You want to pull it out now, or I'll pull it out after this? I'll pull it out after.
Let's go to Genesis 27, 35, and then Tazayuan got something.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 35. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and hath taken away thy blessing.
So he said, Jacob came real slick and took away the blessing. Hold up. It said 2 times in the scriptures, Genesis 25 and 38. 38. Let me not butcher it. Let me get it. Genesis 25. Genesis 25, 32, it showed that Esau sold his birthright. And Genesis 32 to 34 showed that was the continuation of him selling his birthright. Now he talking about our forefather who was righteous was trying to be slick. Read that 35, 27 and 35.
35. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing.
How did he take away his blessing? When he sold it. When he outright sold it. But go ahead.
And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
See, he wanted something. But the Most High was like, you ain't getting nothing. Because it was for you, but you gave it up. And you lied about it.
Man.
When you could have, like, you know what, Pops? I sold my birthright. Maybe he would have got that forgiveness. But he got mad and was like, man, he got the blessing, now I'm going to kill him. So this is what the Most High said. Let's go back. Oh, yeah, get a precept in. He was like, man. What you got?
I'll let you.
So while you hold that, let's go to Hebrews 12 and 16, and then we're going to let Zaywan get that precept.
I was I'll give it for you. It's Revelations 12, 9 and 10. Just talking about how he falsely accused, calling them a devil.
We'll get that. That'll go perfect with this.
Hebrews chapter 12.
Yep.
And what?
12 and 16.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau,
So the Most High described his character. He was wicked. Go ahead.
who for one morsel of meat sold his
So
birthright.
he sold his birthright. And he was unrighteous in dealing with his father by saying, Jacob supplanted me twice. He took my birthright and he took the blessing. But go ahead.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing,
See, he would have inherited everything because he was the firstborn son. But he was wicked. Go ahead.
he was rejected.
Now he's rejected because of his wickedness. That's why I asked y'all, would y'all sell y'all birthright? And y'all said the right thing, no. Which is good. And go ahead.
For he found no place of repentance.
Ain't no repentance for the wicked man now. He's done, as Kanash said. Go ahead.
Though he sought it carefully with tears.
See, he tried to cry and all that, put on an act. He's done. So, you want to bring out some of the Revelations?
And another thing, just dealing with the word rejected, when you really dig into the word hate, because some people don't have a great understanding of what the word hate means. They think the word hate means that every time I see somebody, I got to give them the meanest snarl. And I got to speak vicious words every time I come in their presence. And, that's definitely not all that hate is. David said, I hate him with a perfect hatred. So understanding that hate, when you dig into the word, it also means to reject. All right. So he's telling you right here, saying the same thing. He was rejected, meaning he was hated because of these things, and he was, rejected because when the Most High says, I'm going to give you something that should be, everything that you should focus on, the kingdom, immortality, and you say, I don't want any parts of that. You reject it. He said, I don't want to have any parts of you. Obviously, you put your belly over me. And that's exactly what happened. Go to Revelation chapter 12, and let's get 9 and 10 real quick.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon.
So what great dragon are we talking about? Jump up to verse 3 real quick.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon.
That red dragon. So we talking about who? The nation of Edom. Talked about in Genesis chapter 25. The red dragon. The red nation. So drop back down to verse 9.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out.
Uh-huh.
That old serpent.
Uh-huh. That same old serpent. That same old spirit from way back when that spirit was dealing with Eve. When that spirit was dealing with Eve and caused her to give unto Adam what the Most High told them not to deal with. Right? Same spirit. Go ahead.
Called the devil.
Uh-huh. What is he called?
The devil.
People get upset when we call the so-called white man the devil. You got to understand what a devil is. And you got to also understand that the Bible calls him the devil. You hear brothers all the devil that the Bible speaks of. But do you realize what it means to be a devil? He is everything that a devil is. He would have you to believe that a devil is somebody. How many of y'all watch Daredevil? You thinking of a man in a red suit with the horns and the tail and the pitchfork. But the irony of that is he still keeps some truth in that. Red. Why does the devil have to be red? He's letting you know who the devil is. He's the devil. Go ahead.
And Satan.
And he's Satan, meaning what? Just like Revelations 2 and 9 says that he is the synagogue of that spirit, that chief spirit of the wicked. And Satan, the name Satan is a title as well. And it means adversary. He's adverse to the righteous. He's adverse to our nation. And that's exactly what the so-called white race is. They are everything that is adverse to us. That's why anytime you talk, you might talk about this group, you might talk about that group, but somehow, some way, it's Israelites and them. Straight up. Go ahead.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
And they got the whole world deceived. They got the whole world believing that you ain't the children of God. They got the whole world believing that it's okay to treat the Israelites that are scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. Because it's crazy. For a while, it started being revealed to us. We wasn't realizing we got Israelites in all the countries, and they the ones going through hell. I'm not going to lie, I'm guilty. I remember looking back like, man, them ain't my people. Folks, what's happening over there? They getting killed, they getting persecuted. Well, that's judgment on them. Them ain't my people. And then finding out like, man, dang, those are our people. Man, we going through it. Go ahead.
Y'all know when Haiti had the tsunami, the earthquake, right? Mm-hmm. They made $600 million, Red Cross. Is that owned by black folks? They only built 6 huts. That's deceiving the people because they getting your money, telling you it's for the relief of the Haitians, and now they saying it's their money.
You can also thank the Clintons and what's Hillary Cricket brother's name? I forgot his name. Some Rodham. You know who he is, IQ. What's his name? What's that bastard name? Hillary Clinton brother. Yeah, her brother is involved too, man. They had a way to sustain feeding themselves. I forgot exactly what it was. And he exploited that industry and took it over to the point where they're no longer able to even feed themselves. And that's why they over there eating dirt pies, literally. I forgot his name, something Rodham. That's her maiden name.
Hugh Rodham.
Who?
Hugh Rodham.
Whatever his name is. Look that up.
Is it one of these? Hugh Rodham or Tony Rodham?
Yeah, Rodham. Yeah. It's one of them. Tony Rodham. Yeah, well, it's one of them. But look him up. But yeah, wicked. But go ahead. And Satan.
And Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
They got the whole world deceived. They got you believing that so-called white folks is the most civilized people on the face of this earth. They got you believing that every time you see the one that they call Jesus Christ, right, he's in the image of them. Got you believing every time you see God with the little finger like that and he just got a little thing over his thing, he leaning in the clouds, you see the so-called white man. Santa Claus actually named Santa Claus Saint Nicholas after a real Israelite who was a saint. They just lie about everything. They the last samurai. They gonna be the last Iraqi. They gonna be everything. They trying to be Michael Jackson. I don't know if that fell through. They'll come back with that. They gonna be everybody in a minute. And, of course they say they us. Man, they got the whole world to see. The whole world. And then they coming for us, the ones that's trying to preach this word. They ain't feeling the fact that all these celebrities starting to swing this way. I even seen LeBron with some fringes on the low. But go ahead.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Go ahead.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren.
The what?
For the accuser of our brethren.
He's the accuser of our brother. This white man accused us of everything. Nah, they did it. They did it. We ain't did nothing. I remember one time, true story, man, I used to get pulled over by the police, man. I averaged like 7 times a week. And there was some things I had to change, but it still wasn't fair. Man, it still, I still had to, it wasn't fair though. I know it was the car I drove, how I was carrying myself, you know, certain things are no when you're driving. And but it wasn't fair. But one time, I promise you, I'm not fabricating. Hey, how many of y'all, some of the older heads up in here, you know Johnny Quest? Raise your hand if you know Johnny Quest. You know the dark skinned cat? What was his name? Haji?
Yeah.
What Haji used to wear on his head? Huh? A big old turban, right? As the Most High is my witness, Dad, you remember that turban I used to have, that white one I used to have? Man, I had a gang of hair. I had all my hair up in that turban. It was puffed up, right? I didn't get my hair braided. Big old, and man, I must have got pulled over, man. They hemmed me up, cuffed me. I done been in the back of the police car, guns drawn in my face, stupid talking stuff back, not realizing they could have killed me. And that was on many occasions. But I got a turban on, and guess what this dude tells me? There was a robbery that just happened, and you fit the description. I was like, really? He's just a liar, man. Esau. And the reason why I got away, because something else happened, and they ended up letting me go. And I just, man, Esau, boy. I guess so. I don't know where I went and got it real quick from. Pulled it from my grandma, I guess. But, man, they used to press me, man. They used to press me hard.
That's crazy he said that, because now they're coming out with evidence and showing that Edomites are putting on blackface costumes. Yeah. Not just the face costume, but also the hands and the arms all the way up to the elbow. And they're doing robberies and committing crimes as black folks. That's Esau, man.
Killing people.
Killing people too.
Yep. Straight up, man. But let me get one more. Go to Romans real quick. I can't take this brother's lesson over.
Nah, he ain't. It's gonna get good after this.
Romans chapter 9 real quick.
You gonna go back there?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Chapter 9 and I think he started verse 10.
Romans chapter 9, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to elect might stand.
So hold on. Do you understand what that just said? One of you sisters, we'll call somebody out. Read it one more time for him. Verse 11.
For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
Just that part right there. I need a sister that raise their hand. Like, oh, hold on. I'm gonna call somebody. Who am I call? I'll call my wife. Said, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. What is this indicating? What is this talking about?
I guess us today, or the children.
I'm gonna give you a hint. We talking about Jacob and Esau. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. Children not yet being born, that means what? Prior to them being birthed.
Pregnancy.
They were probably still in the womb, or even maybe not even conceived, but that spirit was somewhere in the spirit world, right? At that point, they hadn't even done anything good or evil. I'm going to help you out. Go ahead and read.
Neither having done any good or evil, that that the purpose of God according to the elect might stand.
According to the election might stand. What election are we talking about? He elected his chosen. He said, look, you my chosen. I love you, and I don't love them other ones. I don't love them. He said, I love you. I'm only fooling with you. I'm only gearing you up. I'm only lotioning you down. The apple of my eye. That's it. So that the purpose of God according to election might stand. The purpose of the Most High. What is it saying? He already had a purpose prior to Esau being born. Yep. People don't understand that. Oh, you know, he already knew before Esau was even born. He knew what he created Esau to be. But read on.
Not of works, but of him that calleth.
Not of works, because he said he didn't even do anything bad at that point. He said, I already know I'm going to hate, meaning I'm going to reject Esau. I know Esau is going to be obnoxious. I know Esau is going to be relentless. I know Esau is going to be a devil. He said, because I made him to be that. I already know what I created him to be. It's crazy. How you going to be mad at Ford for making a truck that guzzles up gas? Right? Well, or a vehicle that guzzles up a lot of gas, right? You have the option to not choose to buy a Ford. You can buy something more eco-friendly, something that is hybrid or whatever the case may be. You don't have to choose Ford. But understand, like, you ain't about to spend all of the days of your life having a problem with how Ford decided to make their vehicles, are you? Am I right or wrong? You ain't going to be too mad with certain clothes designers and companies on how they decide to make their clothes, right? Because you got the option to go and choose some other clothes, right? Right? Men, if you see somebody that make a tight shirt, it say it's an extra large, but it look like a medium, right? And it got slits on the nipples. You gonna buy that? You probably ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time tripping. You might, man. And then you on to the next one. Like, I got to get my white tee or whatever the case may be. But here go the thing. The creator has the ability to create whatever it is that he's creating according to his liking. Period. Everybody realizes that most of the time. Like I say all the time, you got the lion and the gazelle, right? Right? All right, with the lion and the gazelle, we know that lions chase and prey on gazelles, and they eat them jokers, right? How many of y'all be crying for gazelles? Some of y'all probably watch Animal Planet and can't wait for them to get them. Yeah, it's a good old watch. Eating popcorn. Look how he got them. See the lions, some of the lions, you see how the difference, sometimes they'll go out and they don't want to kill the animal, but they warn them and light them up and let them go. But when that male lion get mad and all of the female lions couldn't do it, but the male lion he come with his old self, and he go and he grab that hyena and he know exactly where to bite that hyena at. He going for the spine. He going for that one hitter quitter. Right? We watch all of that and we get a kick out of that and we cool with that. But when the Most High said, all right, I made lions and gazelles. You the lions. The other nations are the gazelles, including Esau. Why you got a problem with that? He said, I know what I created them to be. Go ahead.
And it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. He
said, I hated Esau before Esau came on the scene because I already know what I created Esau to be. I already knew. Yeah. It's a gang of stuff that y'all create that you don't like or that you don't really mess with. You know what I'm saying? You even from what you write, you might write a good and a bad list. This is my bad list. I don't really, these are things I don't like or whatever the case may be. Or, the difference between creating a jewelry box and a trash can, right? But he said, I created Esau to be a vessel, a dishonorable vessel. And I also created him because when y'all get out of line, I'm going to use him to whoop your butt. Go ahead.
Is there unrighteousness with Yahweh? God forbid.
He said, there ain't no unrighteousness, because people be like, I don't want to serve a God like that. If you serve a God like that, I just can't believe God hates people. I just can't serve a God like that. How could you say such a thing? Well, you don't read the Bible. Yep. Y'all playing in church, right? You ain't doing nothing but playing. Because the crazy thing is, when you read what Bible story has yet to go like what you see in the Christian churches and you see in all these other bootleg religions? What Bible story do you know that goes like that? You see nothing but going to war and prophets coming to warn the people that the Most High about to rain hell and send plagues. What do you see different from that in the whole book? Like, what kind of fantasy world do you have to be in? What kind of meds or illegal substances do you need to take in order for you to be in the fantasy world of Christianity and things of that nature, to see that the Most High ain't never dealt like that? He's always dealt like this. Always been nation against nation. He said, I've been separating from the beginning. Go ahead and finish that up, and I'm turning it back to you, man.
For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy.
He said, it's my business, homie. If I want to have mercy on the Israelites, on Yasharallah, which I do, if I want to have, because he said there's no respective persons within Israel. He said, but I have respective persons for Israel as a nation. He said, and that's what I'll choose to do. And who got a problem with it? Straight up. It's people that you do that for, right? You do that for your kids, right? Yeah. Do you care if anybody got a problem with it? Heck no. Who you gonna feed first? Somebody else's kids or your kids? Who bills you gonna pay first? Somebody else's bills or your bills? It's common sense. Go ahead.
For he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then, is it not of him that willeth, or nor of him that runneth, but Yahweh that showeth mercy?
He said the Most High is the one that shows the mercy. He's the one that decides what it's going to be. So, I mean, the brother going to go into it some more, but he said, man, I hate Esau because I created him to be hated. He's the bad guy. Just like when you create somebody create a cartoon, they got to create the good guys and the bad guys. He was written in as the bad guy. It's that simple. Go ahead.
Yep. So let's go back to Genesis 27 and 35 and get Leviticus 19:17.
You want Genesis first?
Yeah, get to Genesis 27:35 first.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 35. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessing.
So he lied on him, right? But go ahead.
And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father?
So he crying for it after he done lied and sold it, but now he wants it. Go ahead.
Bless me, even me also, oh my father.
After he sold it and despised it and said his birthright don't have nothing to do with it. He didn't want nothing to do with it, right? But go ahead.
And Esau lifted up his voice and he wept.
So now he crying because he sold his birthright. And he mad because he lied about it, trying to be slick to his brother. But the Most High had other plans. So go ahead.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
So he got a small blessing, but it wasn't the blessing of Jacob. Go ahead.
and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live,
So he lives by the sword, as y'all can see that, right? Go ahead.
and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob.
Are we supposed to hate our brethren? No, let's get Leviticus 19. 19:17.
Leviticus chapter 19, and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
So he forgot the law, which he was taught it by his father Isaac and his mother Rebekah. Go ahead.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
So he wasn't supposed to hate his brother in his heart, and he was only supposed to correct him if he went off. But go ahead.
And not suffer sin upon him.
But he wanted to suffer sin upon his own flesh and blood. So let's go back to Genesis 27 and 41.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
So he hated Jacob from that point on because he sold his birthright. And then when it was time to get it, he wanted it. Go ahead.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Which he tried to do, which they do now today. Those who were of his lineage and of his seed, they still slay us because their wickedness, and this is why the Most High hates them. Let's go to Exodus 17. We're going to read 4 through 16. We're going to get another instance of Israel being slain and fighting against Esau. Go ahead.
You said what?
Exodus 17, we're going to read 4 through 6.
Book of Exodus chapter 17 and verse 4.
Start at verse 1 so we could get where we was at. We was in need of everything, and our enemy Esau came to fight against us. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 17 and verse 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin.
Wait, hold on. I want to clarify something. Because people be talking about it's a spiritual Israel. But right here it said, all the congregation of the children of Israel. Israel was the church. There is no other church outside of the children of Israel. So go ahead.
After their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink.
Now go down to verse 4. Because we were in the wilderness here, and we're going to show you how wicked and evil Esau was, and another reason why the Most High hates them. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me.
So Moses was the leader of the children of Israel at this point. He was like, man, Lord, they hungry. They need food. They need water. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river. Take in thine hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink.
So here you see the children of Israel, we're in the wilderness, and we thirsty and we hungry, right? But go ahead.
And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not?
So, of course the Most High was among us, because he fed us, he clothed us, and he gave us water to drink in the wilderness. But go ahead.
Then came Amalek.
Wow. Then came Amalek. Who was Amalek in the scriptures? Esau. You can get that in Genesis 10. You want to show that right quick? Let's go there. Let's go to Genesis 10. So we can show that this is indeed Esau.
10 and what?
10 and 30.
I don't think it's in 10.
Huh?
I think that's in 10. I'll find it for you though.
No.
36.
Yeah,
I think you
Genesis
want.
36 and 10. That's what I meant. Go to Genesis 36.
Verse 8.
Yeah, start at verse 8.
Genesis chapter 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
So this is the nation of Esau. Go ahead.
And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau. Reuel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
So Amalek is indeed Esau. But go ahead.
These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife.
Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came out of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah.
So there you have it. That's Esau, the so-called white man. So now let's go back to Exodus 17 and verse 8.
Exodus chapter 17 and verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim.
So Esau, a remnant of Esau, which was Amalek, came and fought with Jacob's children. Go ahead.
And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in mine hand.
So we was at war, right? Do we go to war now today when Esau kill us? No, we don't, because our forefathers, our people today don't read the Bible in its correct context. They think everything is all honky-dory. The Bible says, if at all possible, live peaceably with all men. When we go through the history of the Bible and the history, when we came to America, it's not peaceable to live with the so-called white man at all. Because they committed a gang of atrocities against us, and they still do. The poison of the food, the water, the air. Those are acts of war when they kill us. Germ warfare, man. But go ahead.
So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed.
So this is one of the greatest wars spoken of in the scriptures. Go ahead.
And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
But go ahead.
But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands.
So during this fight, because you know they always say, forgive your enemies, right? They always try to use Matthew 5 and 44. God said, pray for your enemies. Did they pray for their enemies, or they go straight to war? They got the word from the Most High and went straight to war, right? But go ahead.
The one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek.
So this means they fought with Esau all night. From the day to the night. Go ahead.
And his people with the edge of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book.
So it's in our book. This is a memorial for us. What feast do we celebrate the destruction of the so-called white man?
Couple of them.
Can y'all name them? Huh? Dedication and what else? The Feast of Nicanor. we celebrate the destruction of our enemies. Which,
Haman too.
huh?
Purim too. Haman.
Yeah, Purim. Yeah, but go ahead.
And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
So it's gonna happen in future tense, and y'all gonna be the ones that do it. But go ahead.
And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
Wait, hold up. It's not gonna be no war, right? It's gonna be peace. It's gonna be peace.
Oh, you want to say it again? War with Amalek from generation to generation.
From generation to generation. That's why the Most High hates this wicked, evil man. Now let's see why. Another reason.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, how many of y'all been in the bootleg churches? And they be saying all of the names of God and all of that. How many of y'all done heard Jehovah Nissi? All of that. They don't even realize Jehovah Nissi is talking about Esau.
Yep.
Gave him that name because they discomfited Esau. And the Most High at that moment said, oh yeah, y'all gonna take him from up under the heaven forever. And y'all gonna have from here on, he said, y'all, every generation gonna fight with this particular branch of Edomites. And it's been so. Throughout history, even Haman, they even mentioned Haman. Come to find out, Haman was out of Amalek. Even now, you know, with Israelites now, you know, some of the Edomite, I mean, they all got to pay. They all got to go. As Robin Harris used to say, gotta go. But the ones that's putting in the most work, the ones that really know what's going on, are from Amalek. The ones that call themselves by our name. Man. Most High said, man, ooh, he said, man, I'm going to thrust through all those that's joined with him. Join into him. Y'all better stop loving that white man. You can be peaceful with him as much as possible while you at your job and all of that. I ain't saying mean mug him. But when it go down, you better know who's who. Because he know. He be smiling with you. Oh, you're my best friend. I like your music. I like your hair. I wish my hair could be like yours. All of that good stuff. But when it pop off,
They're gonna be on your head.
purging. Yeah.
Man.
What you want?
Let's go to Obadiah.
Ooh.
Let's go to Obadiah. Because this is also, the book of Obadiah is cold because it explains also another reason why the Most High hates Esau.
And my Obadiah full with precepts.
Obadiah 1, we're going to read verse 13. And then we're going to go up to verse 11.
It's only one chapter.
I know. It's only one chapter, but it's a powerful chapter. Let's go to Obadiah and start at verse 13.
Obadiah, verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
So in the time of our calamity, they always coming into the gate, right? As we showed in Exodus 17 and verse 8. Amalek came to fight against us during the time of our thirst, during the time of our hunger. And also they did it here during the time of the siege of 70 AD. When we were fleeing out, they came and fought us then, right? But go finish reading that.
Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity.
So they should not have looked upon us, and go ahead.
Nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Don't they claim our land? Don't they claim our nationality, our history, our identity? The Most High said they shouldn't have done any of these things.
All
but go
our
ahead.
holy things too.
Yeah,
and our
all our holy
forefathers'
days, the holy feast, and what else?
bodies. Our forefathers' bodies
Yeah.
that they got like on display.
They dig them up, desecrate their graves. Go ahead.
When we jump up to 11, or let's go to 14.
Finish this and then go up to 11.
14.
Yeah.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape.
We was escaping from Egypt, right? And they came and was like, man, we're going to fight the Israelites. While they down, while they hurt. They did it during the siege of 70 AD too. Their characteristic is always the same. They hungry, they thirsty, they want what's yours, they want to kill you when you down. Don't they shoot our brothers dead in the street today? Don't they feed us poison because we don't have resources? And those of us who do have resources, if you go back and look up the black farmers, they had to fight for water. Cesar Chavez as well, the Latin America. They had to fight for water too for the farmers and things. But they always come and hurt us when we down. What they do to all of the, y'all know the Baldwin Hill Plaza, right? What they do to the store that a lot of our people was working in. Y'all know what the name of that store was? Huh? It was Walmart. When they put the Walmart inside the mall, it made jobs for our people so they could work and live in the lower income housing over there in the jungles, right? So now they moved them out. Y'all see the Edomites, somebody took a picture of a white man walking through the jungles, him and his wife, which would never have happened back in the days. But that's, huh? Yeah. Yeah, nah. I used to be over there back in the day, but now they out there, they tearing down all this, even y'all old school, Sons of Jacob, right? They tore that down because that was low income rental places and businesses for the black and African American Latino community. But they tearing all that stuff down and gentrifying it right now. But when in our time of need, they always come and they hurt us. But go ahead.
Man. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
So that day is coming. Let's go up to 11.
Verse 11.
Because these are the things that this wicked nation does. And this is why the Most High hates them. Go ahead.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away.
Now go to verse 10. Let's go to verse 10.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
So for the violence against us, shame is going to cover Esau. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
So they're going to be cut off forever. At the coming of Yahushua, this nation is going to die. But go ahead.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
They sold us during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, right? They went to Africa and bought us from the Arabs and the Egyptians, right? Go ahead.
And they split our land.
Yep.
Even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on that day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger.
So when we was kicked out of our land, we became strangers. They went in and did all these things to us. Now let's see how, in verse 11, it says, even thou was one of them. Let's go to Joel 3 and verse 3. We're going to see how Esau became one of the enemies to Israel.
We coming back to that or no?
No, we don't have to come back to that.
Joel 3. Joel chapter 3, verse 3. And they cast lots for my people.
So they bought us on auction blocks. They cast lots for the children of Israel, which they weren't supposed to do. Go ahead.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
They sold a boy for a harlot. I always tell y'all, go look at that movie, Goodbye Uncle Tom. It came out in the 70s, and they banned it in America, so we wouldn't wake up. But go ahead.
And sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your head,
So
your own head.
That's the Most High. Him. They gonna get their destruction. But let's go to read verse 5. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Don't the Vatican have all the artifacts of the children of Israel? But go ahead.
Man, not even just that, man. Go to the Getty Museum.
Oh man, yeah.
Go to the Getty Museum, man. The bastards got everything. Verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
This is how the so-called white man, our brother, became one of them, became an enemy. He is no longer our brother. Y'all see that? Now let's go to Zechariah chapter 1, verse 15.
I'm going to finish it off.
Yeah,
that
finish
ye
it
might
off.
remove them far from their border.
Didn't they remove us far from our borders? It's Zechariah 1 and 15. Transatlantic slave trade. They move us far from our borders. Right? It's recorded in the Bible. It's recorded in history that the white man is wicked. That's why the Most High hates him. Go ahead.
Zechariah chapter 1.
Wait, let me get that. Yep, go ahead.
Chapter 1 and verse 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
See, they help forward our affliction. This is Esau. This is why the Most High hates that nation. Now let's go back to that Obadiah. So now do y'all have a clear understanding of why the Most High hates the so-called white man? All the peace treaties that he broke with us, the Native Americans, even way back then. He lied to his father Isaac and his mother Rebekah. He lied to the Most High. He wanted to kill his brother, which his offspring did and are still doing to this very day. But go ahead. Go to verse 13.
Obadiah, verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity.
So they should not have done any of those things. Go ahead.
Nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
So they shouldn't have took any of our goods. He a thief and a robber. Go ahead. Does the Most High love a thief? No. Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
So they sold us as well. But go ahead.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
So it's going to happen to them. But go ahead.
Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
So their reward is going to return on their own head. So it's a must that we get right, Israel. So everything that they're doing to us will happen to them. And that's Bible prophecy. But go ahead. Let's see what's going to happen.
For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness.
So the children of Israel, we are indeed going to be delivered. But let's see who's going to help deliver us. Go ahead.
And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
So we're going to take everything back. Y'all ready for that? Go ahead.
And all their stuff.
And, yeah, all their stuff as well. But go ahead.
All of the good life. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
No more white folks are going to live. So y'all see that? Y'all see why the Most High hate them? They wicked. And I hope we can do a part 2 where we can show the images and the further afflictions that they constantly cause on our people. But y'all ready for that fight? But the first fight is getting in these laws, statutes, and commandments and understanding and learning who we are. Because it's happening right now. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30, already 1 through 6. Because y'all seen the little the video game thing that happened, right? And the Edomites shot up the place. That's something that's abnormal, right? Esau just killing Esau for no reason. But let's see why it happened.
Let me read that one little part.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the Lord has spoken it.
The Most High spoken it. T.D. Jakes. Ain't no covenant with them.
Read that.
Be lying to the people.
That.
Let's get that. Let's get that Deuteronomy 30. We're going to read 1 through 7. Because the Most High, man, it's amazing. The lady, what was that lady? Who was out there street teaching with us Thursday? The lady, she said she basically said she didn't want to be here. She said it was born here, but we know why. It's because of all the atrocities and everything that our people are going through. They hurt. And these pastors, they only pacifying our people a little and not telling them the truth. Oh, if you give tithes, you're going to be blessed. Mind you, they telling our people to pay tithes when tithes is a law that was done away with, which was the law of sacrifice. And they don't teach them, according to Hebrews 10 and 38, that the Most High said he will not take pleasure in them that turn back. Because you turning your back on Yahweh Shai, whom died for our sins, and did away with the law of sacrifice, and became our mediator. You now saying that this pastor is your high priest. But for real. So God, the Most High, man, he hate them wicked churches. And that's what they doing to our people by teaching them lies. So let's read this, because they never read this. And this is a future prophecy. And it's in the Old Testament.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
So we had the blessing, and we are going through the curses right now, right? Go ahead.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
So we among all the nations, calling it to mind. Because we scattered all throughout the world now, True Nation Israelite congregation. We all the way in Africa. Right? We all throughout the United States. We in Jamaica. What's the other state in Jamaica?
What you mean?
Trinidad. We in Trinidad. We in these places. We calling it to mind among all the nations. Not just here in America, but all throughout the world. We got people from the UK contacting us, right, Aquar? So we growing as a people, and we calling it to mind, the blessing and the curses. Go ahead.
God. Whether the Lord thy God have driven thee.
So the Most High drove us all throughout the world. And for the 12-tribe chart to be accurate, it would have to have all the world on it. But it doesn't. But go ahead.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
So this is what we are doing as a nation of people. Go ahead.
Thou and thy children.
So we teaching this to our children, right? Go ahead.
With all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
Who's in captivity today? The African Americans, the Latinos, the Native Americans, the indigenous people, and the rest of our brothers and sisters that has been scattered throughout the world and is not getting a fair shake in their own country, right? Go ahead.
And have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations.
So we're going to be gathered from every nation in this whole world where we scattered at. Go ahead.
Whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
So the Most High scattered us. Go ahead.
If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee.
Yep.
And from thence will he fetch thee.
So he fetching us right now through his spirit. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
So this promise is indeed coming. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart.
So he's circumcising our minds right now, not to go astray from his word. Go ahead.
And the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
So he's doing it for our children as well. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
Wait, isn't that a curse of the children of Israel? That we kill our own? Deuteronomy 28 and 54. This is happening to our enemies now because we are keeping the Most High God's commandments. They just going up in their own places and shooting up themselves. Y'all laughing, but it's happening. Y'all see the police officer. He solicited sex from a woman that he arrested for drunk driving. And these were two Edomites, and she recorded it on her phone. But these are the curses that's being put back on them. All right, go ahead.
And on them that hate thee.
Don't they hate us? Show me a white race that love African Americans, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's standing up and pulling out their AR-15 and defending our rights. But they not doing it, right? So the Most High said He's gonna return all these curses on them that hate us. But we showed you a basic understanding of why the Most High hate Esau, which that was the lesson about. Any questions? If not, I want to say shalom, Kwam Yasharala to the nation of Israel. That concludes the lesson. Wait, hold on, we got one.
I don't know if you read it already. One precept, Ezekiel 25, 12
Oh,
to
no,
14.
I didn't read that one.
You